Thanks for joining us on Capitol View. I'm Fred Martino. Up front this week, a critical issue for the state's elected leaders and really everyone who lives here, boosting Illinois' image. It's something my guest has been working on for a long time. We welcome the president and CEO of Elevate Illinois, Janet Mathis. Janet, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks for having me today, Fred.
Good to have you here. You were one of the founding members of Elevate Illinois, which came together in late 2018. Give us a sense of why the group formed.
So it actually had its roots, Fred, back in the early 2000s, 2008, with a group of economic developers from across the state of Illinois who had gotten together just as a collective and said, listen, we're tired of the negative rhetoric going on about the state. It's a great place to be. Unfortunately, it was at a time when we had a governor that was being tried for some things, and there was some other negative connotations going on. And so we decided to do something about it with a group called Grow Illinois at the time. We didn't have a lot of traction because we were all doing this as on a volunteer basis. We did do some speaking engagements from across the state and got a little bit going, but kind of put it on hold until, like you said, 2018. And my economic development consulting business partner, Craig Coyle, and I, who had both worked for the state of Illinois in a variety of capacities, including in the Economic Development Agency, decided, you know what, it's time to really go after this and talk about what's good here in the state, because we know this is a great state to be in. And so we did listening sessions with groups ranging from tourism to regional planning entities to companies to individuals to not-for-profits and others to say, does this resonate with you? And they said yes. So we decided to go forward. We started a board of directors, started the nonprofit, got our 501c3 status for Elevate Illinois, got a group of people together to be on the board of directors from across the state. And they range from people that are involved in economic development like we are, and to people that work for higher education, small business, large business. We have an elected official, we have somebody that works on municipal staff, and really just to bring people together to start talking about this, and not just talking about it, but do something about showing people what's good about the state. I mean, look, I'm a fifth generation Illinoisan. We have farmland in Livingston County and actually Williamson, and we're going to be here for a long time. And I want my son and his children and others to want to be in this state, to realize why it's such a great place to be, not just to live, but to work here, to visit here, to play here, to come here to learn. And hopefully when people come to our institutes of higher education, that they stay here and want to be part of the state's success going forward.
Okay, and I should say, a point of disclosure, you mentioned higher education folks on your board. That does include a member from Southern Illinois University Carbondale, which is WSIU's licensee. Well, economic development professionals, as you said, formed the group. Tell us about the areas that you promote when you're bringing business to the state or keeping it here.
Yeah, Fred, it's numerous. And I think people forget this. And so we start to enumerate it. But Illinois is literally in the center of everything. I know there's a tourism campaign with that now, but it resonates because we're the center of the U.S. We have unique access to not only this country, but across the world with our infrastructure system. So we've got a robust transportation system. We're the only state that's got all of the Class 7 railroads, which is a big deal. They all intersect here in Chicago. 5 international airports plus many regional airports as well. We're literally 4 hours from anywhere by air in the United States, continental United States. I had a disclosure, can't get to Hawaii or Alaska. Unsurpassed water access. We've got more than 80 million miles 80,000 million miles of rivers in this state, including the Ohio and the Mississippi, which are large transportation networks. We have the Great Lakes accessible through Lake Michigan, which gets us to the Atlantic. Thousands of miles of highways and interstates, including I-80, which is the east-west transcontinental freeway. So it's the major driver going across east to west in the entire United States. We've got reliable, cheap electric at this point in time, and a lot of states would kill for that and their citizens. We have water. Two major aquifers are here, so abundant water supply, even though we're in a drought situation, unfortunately, this year. Again, I'm a farm kid at heart, so that always concerns me, but we do have a lot of water underground in this state that other states don't have.
And not like the drought in the Southwest. So, I came here about a year and a half ago from the Southwest, and so, it's amazing where I live in southern Illinois, all of the water, all of the lakes, and this is a huge economic driver, not only for business, but also for tourism, which is growing in Illinois, which is so important.
No, absolutely. And tourism is a major economic driver in the state.
Mhm.
We talked about universities, higher education. We've got almost 250 post-secondary institutions in the state, a robust community college network. Actually, the first junior college in the U.S. was here in Illinois. Joliet Junior College, formed in 1901. They not only get prep people with certificates and a 2-year degree, but also work with businesses on worker training within their own businesses that's very specific to them. Innovation in entrepreneurship is huge here. 7 federal labs. We've got a lot of money coming in from angel investors and venture capitalists. And I can't forget, there's 37 Fortune 500 companies in this state. And I could list them all, but I'm not going to. But it's places like Caterpillar and State Farm and Boots Walgreens and others that have found this the right place to be. And so they see something here that obviously makes it important to be in the state of Illinois.
Well, you've talked about a lot of the incredible positives and a really diverse mix of those. Give us a sense of the biggest challenges, areas where you need more help from the state to elevate Illinois.
We talked about broadband, so I'll touch on that just for a second. We do have a disparity across the state in various places of access to technology, communications, fiber, and other backbones to the broadband system. I know the state is working on that, federal government is working on that, but that is something that's going to continue to evolve over time. And of course, the more people are on, the more broadband we need and access to that capability, especially in this remote work atmosphere. But I will say workforce is and will continue to be the number one concern of all employers. There just aren't enough workers in the pipeline. And we've got increased jobs. The monthly jobs report doesn't tell the tale. It only tells the people that aren't actively working anymore. So numbers are low, but it's not necessarily completely the whole story. There's a lot of factors at play with this workforce problem. Exodus of baby boomers as employees, decreasing graduation rates across the state of Illinois. It's not just here, it's across the country. So this is not unique to us.
Yeah. It's a national problem, and I want to touch on some other things. And believe it or not, we only have about 5 minutes or so left, so I want to get to some other things. Speaking of numbers, one area where we have seen some success is getting the U.S. Census Bureau to revise its numbers, showing a population increase rather than a decrease in the state. More to be done on that for sure, and getting the word out about that. But give us a sense of why this is so important.
So there's 2 big reasons. The first is it negates the commentary that's out there that says everyone's leaving Illinois in droves. We're actually growing. So that's important. The second, which is really important, is there's a lot of federal programs that are based on population from numbers from the census. So actually $500 billion annually, about 130 programs. A couple specific to economic development include money being brought in to build and repair roads and bridges, and then also infrastructure related to water and sewer and municipally owned electric facilities. There's a lot more too that we could talk about, but those are
Yeah.
really important to have.
A lot of important things, and those individual, this as working in economic development, those individual census numbers for various metro areas and cities are important too, because some businesses make a decision on whether to locate or stay in a place based on those numbers. Well, one of the long-standing issues has been getting attention for areas outside of the Chicago region. Tell me about progress in that regard and your report card, if you will.
Yeah, so we're making incremental progress. It was important to us that, we recognize there's a symbiotic relationship with the rest of the state and the northwestern corner of the state, the Chicago metropolitan area. They've done a better job because they're more condensed of working together on sharing their positive news. So our focus, although we don't ignore Chicago in that area, we do focus on the rest of the state. And I think we're doing a good job. We've shared stories about people, places, businesses, events, and opportunities from anywhere from Rockford to Cairo and from Quincy over to Danville. And we'll continue to do so. We're driven by trying to find those pockets out there, and they're everywhere. I mean,
Yep. And the exciting thing that people will find when they go to your website is that they can help in this effort. So tell us about that. What can people do who are watching this interview right now? What can they do to help elevate Illinois?
So there's a couple things real quickly. They can follow us on our social media, which is on Facebook and LinkedIn currently, but we'll be expanding. They can listen to our podcasts. They can share those with others and ask them to like and follow us and comment and make commentary. They can share stories with us through our website, elevateillinois.org, which we can go ahead and use to go ahead and reach out to other places. We can't be everywhere at once, so it's helpful to know from other people what the positive stories are out there. And then they can also help with financing this effort and join places like the City of Galva and Bloomington Normal Economic Development Council and Tammy and Rodney Schilling to do that. So there's multiple avenues, and we welcome everyone's participation. This is grassroots.
Yeah, I saw on the website that folks can upload videos to talk about what they see as a way to elevate Illinois, a story to share, and they can also just share a story in written form, correct?
Absolutely, and photos too.
And photos too, of course. We love photos, especially in television. Such a delight to have you here today. Janet Mathis is the president and CEO of Elevate Illinois. Janet, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks, Fred. I appreciate your time.